Pretty good night at the office for Florida Atlantic. The Owls, really no issues with Pacific. 82-59 the final, and we're about to break it all down. Florida Atlantic boys, PostUp here from the Ellie as Florida Atlantic cruises in the second half and now 4-1 on the early campaign. He is Damon Arnette. I am Ken LaVicka. We are your FAU basketball broadcast team. We also, after every FAU game, give you the post-up. This is the Pacific edition here tonight on YouTube and on Twitter, and the chat is open for you if you're watching live right now on YouTube and on X. If not, subscribe to the Florida Atlantic Voice podcast wherever you get your podcast. It's going to come right to your phone, right to your device. You don't have to worry about anything. It's going to come right to you. We're making it very, very easy for you, Damon Arnette and myself. Oh, Damon, 82-59. This one felt good. That's because it was a pretty complete effort. The defense was better. The three-point defense was significantly better, and those guards really got going here tonight.
Yeah, they've played very well on both ends of the floor, offensively and defensively, and it was a complete game, not in just respects to both sides of the floor. They played well, but as far as the contributions that were given from the starting five all the way down to the eighth man coming in, substituting in.
Kanan Carlisle, 21 points tonight. Isaiah Elohim, 13 points tonight. Devin Vanterpool, 12 points tonight. It's great to have a 30-point game from Devin Vanterpool. It's great to have a 29-point game from Devin Vanterpool. But it feels a lot better when things are balanced like that. That's more the recipe for success than having Devin Vanterpool have to hero his way through the course of 40 minutes.
Remember, I'm liken this team to the Dusty Era squad toward the end of his tenure here. Because,
and we're not saying it's going to turn out like that.
No,
but
not at all.
There are at least parallels from a performance standpoint.
Exactly. I make that comparison because one of the things that he was able to get good chemistry on was you had a lot of likeness type of players that were able to play well together, and it made defense hard to just try to stop one guy.
Right.
And they were all guys had very similar skill sets, but not really. Okay. And that's what I'm seeing here with this team here. We have a lot of perimeter guards that have very similar skill sets, but not really, and one thing that they do all have in common is that they can shoot the basketball very well. And that just makes it a hard guard for anybody that you're playing, and it seems as if that the coaching staff is starting to seek out mismatches and being able to take advantage of whoever that player is, mismatch, so where you don't have to rely on one person. Most teams are going to have their best defensive player guard the best offensive player, and so on and so on. But because we're so deep with very similar skill set, you're going to find a very capable player with a lesser defender on them, and that makes it kind of like pick your poison.
All right. Pick a part of the game, a specific number, a specific player. Where is Damon Arnette's head? Where do you want to start here? And I'll navigate us through it. What's at the top of your FAU basketball brain at this juncture?
In terms of individual players, or just
anything,
other team?
Anything.
Devin
Vanterpool. John Jacobs in the postgame said, I need more people to talk about the fact that he is the epitome of a two-way player. The scoring is great, but he is an elite defender as well. I'm going to say this, and I'm very biased, but he is going to assuredly be in the Defensive Player of the Year discussion. Now, it is very difficult to win as a guard the Defensive Player of the Year because it's really a big man award, right? Because you go in and you vote, and especially in this conference, you have the voters who aren't seeing every game, not fully appreciating what their eyes are seeing. And I'm so down on the Defensive Player of the Year award. The fact that Bam Adebayo has never won it, it's just such a tarnished award. Bigs and centers usually win it because of block shots, because that is the number that jumps off the stat sheet, and that's why Rudy Gobert has won it 7 times, not deserving it.
But Bam doesn't want to be considered a big man. But if he was considered a big man, he would have won it.
Right, but because he defends so much at the perimeter and he defends all 5 positions, he doesn't get the proper credit for what he does defensively. My point is Devin Vanterpool is going to, by year's end, be in the Defensive Player of the Year discussion. I don't know if he's going to win it because he's a guard, but he is as good a two-way player. I mean this honest to God. As good a two-way player guard as I've ever seen at Florida Atlantic. It's relentless effort. He can guard at the perimeter. He'll fight around screens. He'll play in the post, even as an undersized. He reminds me a little bit of Brandon Witherspoon from that standpoint, but I think that Devin Vanterpool, moving feet and his size and his length, he's superior in all aspects defensively than Brandon Witherspoon, and I love Spoon. He's one of my favorite players of all time, an all-time great. I'm not trying to disrespect him, but Devin Vanterpool, his intangibles defensively are close to unmatched.
He's rounding out into the player, and they classify, or not classify, but the way you describe what you're seeing from Devin is that the game is slowing down for him. And when you see the game slow down for a player, that's when you can start seeing them play to their potential. Okay, and that's what we're seeing here with Devin, because he's had his trajectory and his track started off playing defense. He had to play D in order to get on the floor.
Right.
Okay, and so he's always had offensive skill set and the ability to put the ball in the basket, but just didn't. The game was too fast for him on that end. Now the game is slowing down on both ends, and this is what you see.
18.2% from three. 2 made threes tonight for Pacific. We talked about it on the broadcast. FAU entered the night 350th of 361 teams in three-point percentage defense. It's well documented. We've talked about it often, and I don't think John Jacobs wants to hear about it anymore, just how poor FAU was last season three-point percentage defense. It was flirting with last in the country for portions of the year. It was last in the sport. The 18.2% from three given up, that's the lowest in the John Jacobs era, and it wasn't a fluke here tonight. There were very few open threes that were missed. Xander Pintalan did a really good job closing out at the perimeter. Devin Vanterpool obviously did a good job. Isaiah Elohim did a good job closing out at the perimeter. Pacific was uncomfortable all night long, and it was aggressive, but it also wasn't this reckless aggression. It was a good job fighting around screens. It was a good job on switches. That was a very disciplined three-point percentage defense.
No, it wasn't. They paid attention to detail, okay, even with their hands. When we played Coastal Georgia on Monday night, there was a lot of handsy fouls being called, 20 feet away from the basket. You didn't see that tonight. Closing out on defense, as I said in the pregame, one way you can help your three-point percentage defense is don't give so many wide open looks. Okay. And so we were not in closeout situations a lot tonight because there wasn't open players from Pacific standing, waiting on a pass, waiting to catch and shoot. And that is reflective in the attempts tonight. Pacific only had 11 three-point attempts tonight.
That might say more than the 2 made three-pointers. Only allowing Pacific 11 threes on the night, that'll get it done.
And they averaging 16 coming into the game. Okay, and so the reality of it is that because Pacific is such a well-coached team, they're not forcing shots. So if you're able to not leave them open for a catch-and-shoot opportunity, you do yourself well to get that three-point percentage defense down.
Florida Atlantic Voice, presented by Robes Law Group, personal injury lawyers, ROBES, robeslawgroup.com. They are in the community for you. The Robes Shield app is the most useful app you are going to find. You never know when you're going to be in an automobile accident, motorcycle accident, slip and fall, and the Robes Shield app has a component to it where in real time after the accident, you can document exactly what happened, take photos, make sure it's stored, because it is really difficult, full recollection a day after, 2 days after. These things that you can document right after they take place, it's going to help you with insurance. It's going to help you with law enforcement. It's going to help you overall. And so Robes, they're set apart from everybody else in a crowded personal injury lawyer landscape in South Florida. Robes Law Group, personal injury lawyers, ROBES, robeslawgroup.com. The chat for you is open if you are watching live on YouTube. If you are watching live on Twitter, FAU fans, give us your observations, give us your impressions, give us your questions coming off of this FAU blowout victory over Pacific. How many times, even in the Dusty era, did we see FAU take a big lead and then the opponent, no matter who it was, would chip away and chip away, and it would be unnecessarily interesting with like 3 minutes left to go. And I was concerned that was going to happen tonight because FAU was stuck with a 15-point lead for what felt like 4.5, 5 minutes. It might have been pretty close to that, actually. I'm just kind of estimating, spitballing off the top of my head. But then FAU comes down. 3 straight possessions, they hit a 3. 2 of those back-to-back possessions, it's and 1 4-point play opportunities. Elahi misses his free throw. Cannon Carlisle is able to make his. That busted the whole thing open. Those were the kill shots, and that's the sign of an evolving team in my mind where, yeah, they're hanging around. And instead of making it nervy, you have the veterans step up. They get the job done. It's not everything, but 5 games into the season with a new roster, I think that's a positive sign.
It definitely is a positive sign, and I'm sure that's what Coach Jake has alluded to when he said took small steps. And those moments kind of broke the game open. So now, because this is still just such a young team, you kind of wonder what happens, kind of similar to the Boston College game where you're on the other end of that, where you're down and you come back and make big plays in those moments. One thing that I'm trying to forecast and kind of see how this lends itself to being in a situation where we're up 3-4 points as we come down the stretch here, and the other team is making plays, and you're trying to nurse and limp your way across the finish line sometimes with that lead. Can you respond? Can you get hit in the mouth and then respond in those late moments where every possession counts? We saw a little bit of that against Boston College. I don't know how much of that was just Boston College falling apart as opposed to our will and determination to take the game. But that is kind of like the next step in evolution that you're going to eventually see the team be in.
Dark asked in the chat, I should say, I see so much potential once we get our lineup set and everyone knows their role. John Jacobs was talking about that tonight. We need to keep this energy even when other teams are making shots. That's a key on both sides of the floor. Go Owls. Dark, I'm glad you mentioned get the lineup set, because I asked John Jacobs about that when we had him up here on the network post game. And I asked him, how close are you, or how much progress have you made on that? And his response was, well, we're inching closer to it. What you factor in is as soon as someone doesn't give maximum effort, that helps me assess where the lineup is and what the rotation's going to be. The Thanksgiving tournament, and this is and I'm just parroting John Jacobs here, these Thanksgiving MTEs play a big role in coming out the other side and sort of knowing how deep you're going to go, what your rotations are going to be, what's your solidified starting 5, what are your best options right away off the bench. John Jacobs is going to know more coming out of this. It's not going to be the entire answer. I still think you got to get through St. Bonaventure. You got to get through Albany before you really know. But by the time FAU goes to St. Mary's December 19th, they're absolutely going to know. But point is, Monday, Tuesday, and then the following week, St. Bonaventure on Sunday, coming out of Thanksgiving, you're going to probably see about, if I were to put a number to it, 75% John Jacobs knows kind of the direction he wants to head.
And this is totally different. We talk a lot about the players and the newness and the evolution, but one thing that was here were the staff, the coaching staff.
Yeah.
And so there's believe it or not, a chemistry that the coaching staff is improving upon. And one thing that glares out to me is that if you remember last season, we wasn't until maybe January or so where he was still playing around with a rotation. Yeah. We went deep into maybe halfway through. Now you can tell his second year into coaching that he's going to that and figuring that out a lot sooner. Yeah. What his rotation is and who's going to get those minutes. And all I could advise the players, you better be busting your tail in practice and in these games.
And John Jacobs said as much.
Decisions are being made right now. Who's going to be in those rotations?
Isaiah Elohim. We talked to him for the first time post-game. He had 13 points tonight, was 3 of 5 from 3. He is, if FAU is going to be successful, he's going to play a massive part in it. I think that goes without saying. He started all 5 games for Florida Atlantic this season. How would you assess his game to this point?
I think it's very complimentary. And
yeah, that's a good word to use.
It's complimentary to not necessarily another player, but it's complimentary to even out the size of the floor. If you notice, Devin is always on the opposite side as Elohim is, okay? And then you have Carlisle at the top.
Yeah.
So he's complementary to the other, what's going on the other side, because he can do all the things that the other side can do, no matter who's on it. When Carlisle's off the ball and he's on the opposite wing, he's able to attack in the same method. So as I mentioned in our post game, Florida Atlantic has the ability and the potential to be one of these teams where you have to pick your poison.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you put all the focus on one side of the floor, here you have Elohim on the other side, who can have the kind of type of game that he had today. And then if you focus on Elohim, you have Vanderpool on the other side of the floor. And then if you lock both of them up, you have Carlisle at the top.
Right.
And so that's what I'm saying, how you can pick your poison, and didn't even speak to the effect of Pentalon. Just standing there, just waiting on whatever scraps come and opportunities. So that's what I mean by potentially this team can be very difficult to guard.
Again, the chat's open. Questions, observations from tonight's win over Pacific. Not a whole lot of drama down the stretch. 82-59. Florida Atlantic improves to 4-1 on the campaign. Since we're talking about bigs, talk about Pentalon. Let's talk about Vincent Neugebauer. Let's go from
you know what we need to say?
Germany to Belgium.
Let's say talls. In this game, because bigs, in my mind, when you say bigs, you're thinking about block.
Pentalon's more of a three-point shooter than he is.
Exactly.
In the post.
So I'll start to. I'm gonna rephrase things.
Okay.
And say our talls.
And you have that. You have that freedom to do that. I like that. So let's go from Pentalon to Neugebauer. Let's go from Belgium to Germany.
Okay.
Neugebauer, I thought
Belgian waffle, German beer.
Yes. Now, I actually, so at some point, I'm going to, and just in case people want to know, both Pentalon and Neugebauer's English is really, really good.
Yes.
That tends to happen with the vast majority of the European players. They're
modernized.
Titus last year had issues, but Matas was really good speaking English. It just depends what schools they went to, but both their English is good. I'm going to ask Neugebauer about the fact that anywhere you go in Germany, it's just tubed meat everywhere. It's sausages, just tubed meat all over the place. It doesn't matter if it is a random store in Munich or Berlin. It doesn't matter if you're in the airport. Doesn't matter if you're in a petrol, they call it petrol station there, gas station. Sausage. They just sell sausage all over the place, and it's delicious. I'm a big tubed meat fan. I am pro tubed meat. It's just such a culture shock compared to here, where you don't see a lot of sausage just randomly. There's the hot dogs at the gas station,
the bratwurst at a tailgate. You go to the store, but I'm telling you, there are just sausages sold everywhere in Germany. Now, back to Vincent Neugebauer from a basketball standpoint. Okay,
he was good tonight.
Yes.
He was, and he did a lot that doesn't show up on the stat sheet, and I know that's an overused term. It's a little bit cliche, but he's a big.
Yes.
Not a tall.
Yes.
He played like a big tonight.
He's a big.
And he was fighting for rebounds. He was big defensively, especially against their big bull, Isaiah Jack. Isaac Jack really mixed it up with that Pacific big man. Having him pop out 30 feet beyond the perimeter and then able to get back defensively in the post, that was from a full scope. He had a good game against Charleston, but from a full scope tonight, Vincent Neugebauer, I thought, put together his full game as a major bench component.
No, he absolutely did. And one of the beauties that our bigs and talls have is that
I really like that. I'm into that.
When their defensive scheme is to switch.
Yeah.
Okay, even on the perimeter. So, but Nugenbauer is not real fast with his feet, but he doesn't have to be because he takes good angles to cut off
Sure.
the penetrating guard. And even if he's not all the way there because of his length, the guard is very weary about trying to get off a shot. So he has the ability and the luxury, I should say, to be a step or two behind and still impact the play.
Speaking of good food, we were able to get into the Red and Blue Club.
Yes.
Behind the suites before the game. That chicken marsala, pretty solid.
Very solid.
I was
chicken marsala is very underrated. A lot of people don't like the marsala.
Is, you're right.
It's very underrated.
I would argue that chicken parm is fine. Chicken marsala should be on the same level, and it rarely is.
As chicken parm?
Yeah.
No way.
Chicken marsala, for me, I like cheese, don't get me wrong, but chicken parm's too heavy. It's something you have to box up and bring home. Chicken marsala, I like it because it's lighter and you can eat it in one sitting.
Well, because the marsala has the wine sauce on it.
Yeah, that's not, and I like that a little classier than the red sauce.
Take the cheese off.
No, but I like cheese, but so I'm not going to take it off. It's just filling for me.
Well, I like the versatility of the chicken parm. You can have chicken parm, a sandwich.
All right. You can't have a chicken marsala sandwich?
I have not had one. Okay. I try one.
Yeah, like that's all I'm saying. Don't be experimental with your
oh yeah, okay. Fare. Well, let's tell them. Let's next time we have chicken marsala, put it between a bun.
see how that goes.
Yeah.
Before we wrap it up here, FAU goes to Daytona. Monday, Loyola Marymount, and then Tuesday, either Ohio or George Mason, depending on what FAU does. Monday, and depending on what the other game, what happens on Tuesday. Another neutral court opportunity. It's another obviously great chance for FAU to really solidify a little bit. Another WCC team, which is a tricky perk of this non-conference schedule, but efforts like this tonight. And Pacific isn't going to win the WCC. Pacific isn't going to probably make much noise late in the season in the WCC. But Pacific is really well coached with a Canadian basketball legend. They showed it last year, going from no wins in the conference season 2 years ago to their head coach, Dave Smith, coming in, winning 4 games last year, including a couple of road games. And retained 2 of their best players from a year ago, which is unheard of. And for it to happen at Pacific is a big deal. This is a vastly improved side, and FAU didn't have much issue with them tonight. That bodes well. And at the very least, there's confidence going into this Loyola Marymount game on a neutral floor.
You definitely want to, after you have your little mini homestand, want to go on the road with the win. But Pacific, to me, it looks good on the schedule initially. May not look that positive when the Ken Palms, okay, based on the schedule. But if you just go down the schedule and you see your Pacific on your schedule, just by name alone, you kind of
it's a nice building block.
It's a nice building block. It's maybe not as looking good on the schedule as a Boston College. Okay.
Probably on par, to be honest. Name recognition, sure. On
name
par
recognition.
From a metric
it just looks good on the schedule.
Yeah, for sure.
It looks good on the schedule. It can trick somebody into thinking that, they beat Pacific.
Well, I tell you what, would you rather beat up on Pacific at home or take a loss at home to Alabama State like UAB did? You know?
I'd rather beat up on Pacific.
Yeah. That feels a whole lot better. And it was a team you should have beaten. It was a team you should have beaten emphatically, and you beat this team emphatically.
Kid, I'm starting to get a feel, and I hope I'm right for this, but if we can continue this, unlike last year where, like Bill Parcells said, you are what your record says you are. But last year, I felt as if we underachieved for a lot of different reasons, But this year, I'm starting to see that we should beat the majority. I mean, everybody's going to have a hiccup. Okay.
Yeah.
But Liberty to me wasn't a hiccup. Liberty was a better team. They were at a more advanced stage of chemistry and togetherness.
3 and 4 years together with those guys.
Exactly. And at that stage that we played them, they were a better team. Okay. On that floor given that night. And I would like to see them maybe shoot 40% from the 3-point line, and then we'll see what kind of game we got. But we're starting to. What I'm trying to say is, it seems as if we're going to beat we should beat most of, if not all, the teams we should beat.
Listen, your next three: Loyola Marymount, either George Mason, who was a 20-game winner a year ago, or Ohio, who flirted with 20 games, and then St. Bonaventure comes in. These are 3 games that are going to tell a really, really extensive story about what this team is, I think, because all 3 teams FAU are playing. They're very capable, and they can be dangerous, and they can, especially in this earlier part of the year, be a roadblock, be a hurdle. There shouldn't be a freak out with losses in this stretch, but if you're able to successfully navigate it, then you feel like, all right, like things are rolling a little bit. We don't want to look out too far, but this is big. Like these 3 games are really, really significant in the grand scheme of things, just in terms of how you feel about where this team fits right now.
Kid, I want you to pay attention. I'm going to bring back what Coach Jacobs said in that post game, and then kind of let you reflect on it. Coach Jacobs said that the team really paid attention and responded very well and executed the scout.
Mm-hmm.
Here you had 2 3-point shooters coming into the game. One of them, which was shooting 55% coming into the game, which was Pacific's big Elias Ralph.
Yeah.
And they didn't let him get off. Now, I say all that just to go back to last season. How many times did you and I call these games and we would say, the guy's shooting 45%. Why are you leaving him open? And all these players from last year, they got their average on us.
Yeah.
We didn't stop or hold anyone below their average.
Yeah.
And the scout was there and was given the information. And Coach Jacobs mentioned a few times how the scout didn't get executed. And I listened to and I paid attention to that comment that he said. And that is big, because when we go into, if we was to play Liberty tomorrow, I guarantee you they would do a better job on their shooters.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. They would execute the scout. And that's big, because these coaches are spending the time in the film room, and you can tell they do a great job by highlighting the other team's strengths, especially their strengths shooting from the 3-point line.
Yeah.
And today was a big step in taking that away from their major players.
So FAU heads up to Daytona. Just real quick, are you thumbs up or thumbs down? Pro Daytona or con Daytona? Because it's not for everybody.
I'll say this. The only time I've been to Daytona was when my daughter was doing volleyball tournaments.
Okay.
And usually when you're on those trips, from your daughters, when you go out and travel with them or have the competitions or whatnot, when you're in nice cities, I mean, there's hey, we're going out to eat here, and the parents get together and go there. And Daytona was none of that. It was just getting in the hotel. It's like, okay, what time do we play tomorrow?
Yeah. Now, what I'll say about Daytona, I think anything north of Yeehaw Junction, I consider it South Georgia. Daytona is absolutely well within the confines of what I like to call South Georgia. Daytona is a little bit slower. I'm definitely not into the binge drinking spring break. Luckily, we're not in that spot type of Daytona approach. Those days are done. That ship is
We
sailed.
are in that spot. We're right there by Bethune-Cookman.
No, but what I'm saying by life spot.
Oh,
life
I got
spot. I'm not a big spring break.
You might have a
anymore.
flashback.
I might have a flashback. That flashback would be just seeing black.
Yeah, I mean, you're in Daytona where it's not
blacked
really
out
to
the
do.
entire time. But I will say, right next to the hotel we're staying in, there is, because FAU played in the CBI
right
a couple of years ago, staying at the same hotel up there. There is a hole-in-the-wall wings place right next to the hotel. Really cheap beers, really cheap drinks. And damn it, we're hanging out there.
Okay.
So be ready on Tuesday evening, especially.
Is it just me, or is me being from Texas, one of the things that just amazed me was how blue the ocean is down here in South Florida. Okay?
Yeah.
Because
Daytona's like gray.
Why is that?
It's South Georgia.
It's like it's the Gulf. It's like the Gulf just went over the east side of the state.
Oh, man.
Fun times ahead.
Times ahead.
It's
Let's
better
go.
than going to Liberty. You want to go back to Lynchburg?
I hope I never step foot in that place ever again. Oh,
All right.
man, is it in the middle of nowhere.
Well, just when you think things are bad, it can be worse.
It's true. So we're going to Daytona, and that'll be late Monday night, FAU Loyola Marymount on the FAU Sports Network. Florida Atlantic wins tonight. Now 4-1 on the season. Damon and I are going to make the trek north. A reminder: FAU football. 3 o'clock kickoff with UConn. The Owls need to win out for bowl eligibility. Florida Atlantic, it's a big game because they're wearing red on Saturday. This will be available in this PostUp Pacific Edition, will be available in podcast form. So make sure you subscribe to the Florida Atlantic Voice presented by Robes Law Group. Wherever you get your podcast, just make it easy on yourself so you don't have to seek it out. And then, of course, Sunday, Robbie LaStella and I will have the day after recap of Florida Atlantic and UConn on the football side. Want to thank you all for watching. Want to thank you for jumping in the chat. For Damon Arnette, I'm Ken LaVicka, Florida Atlantic Voice presented by Robes Law Group. Talk to you next time. And until then,